So, at what point do you like do so? Oh, actually, in high school, are you doing poetry at that point? Or did you like
Yes.
get into? So, tell us about getting into poetry.
So, all right. My first, my first language is French, right? I actually, my sister and I, we taught ourselves how to speak English, and our main teacher was, was television. So I remember it was The Simpsons, Fresh Prince, Ninja Turtles. Like these are things that really taught me how to learn the language. And I remember because on the TV, we could put the captions on, right? So when they would speak the word, the captions would appear. And I've always been like a visual guy. So if I see the words, I know the word, I know like the spelling of the word, so on and so forth. And I would start to understand the context in which the word was used. And then I would take that, and then when I would like listen to rap music, I would hear certain words that they would say, and I would understand the slang, how what the slang meant. Like I would, okay, I get it. This is what it was. But back to poetry, me learning the language, like me learning English, just watching TV, like I became fascinated with the language. So I started writing poetry when I was in high school. Like I started to understand how to make words rhyme. But again, like it never dawned on me to say, you know what, I'm gonna do this for music. It was more like just for poetry. I'm
Mm.
not gonna lie. Main reason I was doing poetry was to get girls and work, right? So,
It does.
if you were a guy, if you were a guy that could put words together, in a romantic way, you fold the letter. I remember like there was a special way where you could actually fold like handwritten letters to girls. You handed it, I would hand the letter, and then she would read the letter with a nice poem. Like I was good, right? So that's what it was. But then I remember back when I was in Dawson, I was in class, and that's when I was like, you know what? Let me write a rhyme. And I remember writing my first rhyme in class. I can't remember which class it was, but I remember writing my first rhyme in class. Hold on, give me a second. Yeah, I remember writing my first rhyme in class, and I was like, okay, you know what? I like this. So like I would write some rhymes. And back then that's when we used to write it on paper.
Right.
Like I'd have to check in my boxes. I think I still have like a envelope with like a bunch of like a handwritten rhymes, right? Um, so yeah, so that's how like the idea to become a musician, so to speak, an artist. That's where it stems from. It started with poetry, and then it got into rhymes. But mind you, I wrote rhymes like in the dark for, for years. It was like for years, no one knew. Like I would just write, and I would just write. I would write for fun. A few of my folks knew, and one of them, there were two guys. They're named Sun and Rage. Gosh, I think uh, K2G was the name of their group, and I remember they asked me to feature on one of their songs, and that was my first time recording an actual verse. I listen to it now, gosh, I'm disgusted, but again, it's
So, how
humble
did you guys
beginnings. Right?
record? How did you record it? Like, did you go to a studio? How did you go
It
about
was
that?
actually it was actually at his crib, but he had studio equipment. But again, it wasn't like the studios that we see today, right? So,
Right, right.
he had the mic. I don't even think he had the styrofoam on like the foam on the walls, to conceal the sound. I don't even think he had that. But I remember going in there. I remember going in there and recording the verse, and and it was just a few months ago. I actually went back into my emails to listen to it. I said to myself, God damn, man. I obviously, you appreciate the evolution, right? But you just say shit. Like this is not, something that I would have actively put out saying, listen to my shit, listen to my shit. But again, it's fine, right? It's all part of as an artist, again, humble beginnings, who you are, where you come from, and how you've evolved over the years.
Nah, I appreciate that. Just on the subject of like going back, I realized I had all this old shit that was just like floating. So I put it together and made a project called Holdies. So I
Nice,
took that
nice.
bullshit that you just cringed at and I said, let's all cringe together and I'm gonna put it on Spotify. I made the beat on that first one I put out. It is awful. But fuck it. It's like a time capsule, right? Like people like that. And I think people appreciate hearing those things. They're like, "Yeah, look at
Oh,
you.
of
You're way
course.
better now." I'm like, "I know I'm
But
way better now."
you know, but that's what it is. And not only that, like I said, when you look back and you realize, okay, you know, like you said, I have improved. I have made a difference. I have made a conscious effort to I guess improve the craft, right? To be better. So yeah.
Yo, my voice used to be like so flat and monotone that it was like disgusting to listen to. I couldn't even hit like a note. Couldn't do shit with it. It's just like ba ba da 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 ba. And it's like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to like be as bad as I used to be if I wanted to. And
Yeah.